and welcome to Logistic Talks. My name is Eric Gantier, and I am the president of the engineering and manufacturing sector. Today, we're discussing sustainability in logistics with Trane Technologies, with United Cargo, and the Global Shippers Association. Do you think this pandemic and this transportation crisis we are in could possibly postpone any of the target of CO2 emissions for any of your members?
It's a great question, and I think much to my happiness and surprise, I don't think so. But we're seeing, despite all the challenges in the supply chain, there's a strong interest in establishing goals for emissions, measuring, holding the businesses and the supply chains accountable for driving improvements in those areas. I don't think there's any going back. Pricing for logistics in general is very high at the moment. It won't last forever. It won't go back to where it was, but prices will come down. But can we take some of those savings that we are going to see and invest those in a more environmental supply chain? So if I can take out 15% in my rate per kilo for air freight, how about I take 10% out and report to the business with 10% savings, but that 5% goes to investing in biofuels or more environmentally friendly solutions. We need to be taking some of these savings and investing them in a more sustainable supply chain.
Tom, when do you expect that the demand for sustainable solution, and I'm thinking here about SAF, about BAF, when do you think this is going to become mainstream?
Yeah, I think it's going to become mainstream, to be honest, when all companies stop fighting it and embrace it. I think, like at Trane Technologies, we don't wait for a regulatory decree to come out. We want to be first with whatever the opportunity is, regardless of what the cost is. If the technology is available, we want to be part of that solution. I think when there is more responsiveness across the entire supply chain around that, I think that's when you'll see it happen. And also for shippers like us, when we're willing to invest in that product too. I would just say that sustainability can become a winning strategy for you no matter what. I think when people in business look at sustainability, sometimes they say, oh, this is going to be more cost to me. But I also think that today, especially if you're like a public traded company, there are more and more shareholders that want to invest in sustainable solutions. More and more customers ask the question wherever they go, am I buying something that is good for the environment? So I think it's a winning strategy no matter what you do. It's the right thing to do. And also, it will lead to a more profitable thing over time. Because at the end of the day, we all want more customers, right? So I think this is the solution that leads you there.
Have you taken already any measures to enjoy a more sustainable logistic flow?
We have. So we invest in services today with large 3PLs like DHL that have guaranteed carbon reduction on the ocean side. That's very important for us because the supply chains are long and the amount of product that we carry on those lanes is very large. So I think that was one of the first ones on the ground side. It's investing in carriers that are Smart Waste certified in the United States. But I think those are examples of investments that we're making that are really good for the partnership that we have, really good for the environment and good for our company.
And tell me, in the next 3 years, what is your sustainable plan?
The sustainable plan for us is to be able to get and track all the data we have for everything that moves globally, to be able to tell us how much carbon we do emit and where the opportunities are to reduce. And clearly a lot of that is on the ocean side, but also to be able to use the tools that we have in modeling to reduce the empty miles. I think those are the big areas of focus for us. Empty miles on the ground, more sustainable low carbon solutions on the ocean. I think that will be the focus for us and will lead us to the path towards success.
You have already targets in place in terms of sustainability. What are they?
100% carbon neutral by 2050. through various efforts. Sustainable aviation fuels is one of the biggest. We have a program with our EcoSkies that with all of our large customers do. DHL actually is the largest on our cargo side in terms of partnering with us on the SAF. So that's the major one, the big one that you hear in the news. There's a lot of things that we can also do in terms of optimizing our flight routes, trying to do as lightweight as you can, containers, whatever it might be, how we taxi, single engine taxi or towing aircraft versus powering the aircraft on their own to move. So there's a lot that can be done. United is focused on it. We talk about aircraft. We have the Boom aircraft that we've purchased, and we'll have those in a few years to be able to fly passengers, which again is on its own. It's a neutral aircraft. So there's a lot of investment that can be made, and everyone needs to make sure they keep that same investment going.
So tell me more about what United Cargo has already done in terms of controlling better the impact we have.
Yeah, I think that the sustainable aviation fuels, that's the biggest one, and that's where we partnered with DHL to make sure there's a purchase, and we're able to do that. I think the limitations are the maximum of 50% of the fuel can be overall can be used on the SAF. So there are some limitations that we go through there, and just the availability of the sustainable aviation fuel is something that the industry has to face. But that's a large one we've done. Also, as we've mentioned, in terms of just optimal flight paths with the aircraft and not burning fuel unnecessarily, electrifying our ground equipment versus the historical fossil fuels. So there's a lot of elements that have to go into it. It's not just one thing that can be done to solve the problem.
So you were talking about these biofuels. You really do see an appetite from your members?
We do. I think the challenge is that when you go in those programs, you need to be aware and comfortable with the fact that the kilos that you're sending might not actually be on an aircraft with that biofuel. Right. And so that's always then the credibility. You need to have great trust in the partner that they are truly investing that money that you're paying extra for something that's not actually going to fly on that environmentally friendly solution is really helping. And it's not just another tax, another increase in cost. I need to make sure that the CFOs don't think I'm writing blank checks for these kind of solutions. But that I think there's definitely appetite. So we need to plant those seeds. And I think there is an appetite for that, absolutely.
That's great to hear. So when do you believe that our cargo is going to fly on carbon-free aircrafts?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. I'm not sure if I can put a number on that one. But I think as we continue the partnership that we have, and all the other airlines, all the other forwarders, all the customers, if everyone joins together on this, it's going to make it a much quicker endeavor than if it's just DHL and United trying to do it on our own.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you very much, Chris.